Cool. We are live, and we're also live over here. Nice. Let's see. Looking good. The audio bar is going up. You guys looking good over there too. Cool. So we're back at it again. This is our 5th time brewing with these beans over here. And I have actually given it a lot of thought. Like, what is wrong with the way that I'm approaching these beans? And I think what I've realized, or what I've been thinking about, is that since these beans are such a light roast, there aren't a lot of over-extracted qualities that come through into the cup when you go into that range. So what I think is happening is that from our past cups, where we've gotten kind of like a balanced but boring cup of coffee, the issue is that it's actually over-extracted, but it's not getting those qualities into the cup because the bean is so light roasted that not a lot of plant fiber is breaking down and ending into the final cup of coffee. So instead of getting those dry and raspy qualities of over-extraction, we're getting more of just like a diluted cup because the extraction of the plant fiber is not happening. So my guess, after thinking about it a bit more, is that yet again, our 2 last cups that we've brewed are actually over-extracted instead of balanced. So what we're doing today is actually mixing it up and going down again to the under-extracted realm to hopefully get to the actual balanced realm. So we'll be using a brewing ratio of 1:16, 15 grams of coffee, 27 grind size, 240 grams of water, and a boiling water temperature. So hopefully with this recipe, we will be extracting less coffee, and we will hopefully also get a cup that is a bit more interesting than what we've been getting, because right now it's just not that delicious of a cup of coffee. So let's begin. I'll move you down over here, twist you like so. Ta-da. And we'll start measuring our beans. So we're aiming for 15 grams of coffee. Got our coffee. Beans go flying. There we go. We got our 15 grams. 15.1, good enough. Let's see. Nice. Okay, and let's get our boiling water. And a cup to brew into. Like so. And we got our filter. Preheat. So the goal with this cup is to really just get some acidities in the cup and hopefully really understand that maybe the balanced extraction that you've been thinking was balanced is actually just over extraction with less of those obvious notes of over extractedness. So I am really interested on how this cup of coffee will be in a lower brewing ratio range. Hopefully some new flavors and tastes will come out and shine. Pour in our coffee. There. Bring it to the timer. Make a small hole and we'll begin. Start the timer. Pour 40 grams of water. Like so. Swirl the brewer to make sure that all the grinds are saturated. Like so. And wait a bit. And then pour the remaining liquid all the way up to 240 grams in a pretty quick manner. There we go, 240. And then we take a spoon, we stir the top part, clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise, like so. And then we wait a bit for it to draw down a bit further, and then we give it a swirl. Around now, it's at this level over here. We'll give it a swirl. Like so. And that is exactly what James Hoffmann does in his technique. Hope everyone is having a good Friday, enjoying their day so far. Maybe have any Halloween plans for the weekend, you know? Busy sewing your costume, prepping up some stuff, who knows? Okay. So if this is the case that a cup is more balanced as we extract a bit less, our assumption now has probably been yet again that a balanced and bland cup of coffee was the over extracted cup of coffee, and we need to change our mindset on how light roasts are showcasing that over extracted quality. Because in my last two cups, they weren't bad or anything. They just didn't have a lot of flair or taste or notes that came up. And after adding a dash of water, it didn't do anything either. So I have a feeling yet again that with extremely light roast coffees, there is an issue in showing those over extracted qualities, those classic over extracted qualities. And instead, what it shows is just a more bland and boring and diluted cup of coffee instead. So looking at the coffee bed, looks good. No grinds up top. Quite the even and leveled coffee bed. we'll give our coffee a stir. And we'll move everyone back up again, like so. And like so. Cool. Okay, and as always, we're going to let it cool down a bit. Any fun Halloween plans for you peeps? I'm just doing a small get-together with some friends, catching up, making some masks though. So origami masks / like paper mache. No, not really paper mache, but more like origami / drawing your own masks on some craft paper and getting all crafty and stuff. It's gonna be pretty calm, pretty chill. And right after this live stream over here, a video is going to go live, which is the video or a coffee chat on how I don't think that there's the ultimate coffee brewing recipe out there or technique, and that the way that we kind of like glorify those techniques are a bit too much, and we need to take a step back and really understand what they're doing instead. So yeah, make sure to tune in into that video right after this live stream. But for now, let's give it a taste. Cheers. The brew went better. Right now, I am tasting slight sour qualities. So we're gonna add a dash of water to hopefully open it up a bit. But in my opinion, this is a better cup of coffee than a really neutral and non-intrusive cup of coffee. So I would say that just from the first sip, where it's giving me some interesting qualities to latch onto, it's better than my two last brews that didn't give me anything to latch onto at all. Okay, let's add a small dash of water. And let's give it a sippy sip. So this is easily the best cup of coffee I've had so far with these beans. And it kind of reinforces that thought that I've been having, which is these balanced cups of coffee that we've been having, they're actually over extracted. They're not balanced, and there is just something weird happening when extracting a extremely light roast bean, where those over extracted qualities aren't the same as a medium or dark roast bean. And I just want to showcase the difference of bean roast level, because it's kind of significant. Let me pour it into this cup. Like, I think I have 3 different roast levels over here that I can show. This will be fun. Okay. I wonder if you guys can see this. Ooh. Yeah. Okay, I'll show one at the time, or compare 2 at the same time. So we got the 2 extremes, right over here and right over here, like so. So this over here is the dark roast that I've been using not too long ago. And then this over here is the light roast that we're using right now. Now, comparing this light roast, it doesn't look super light roasty, but just comparing it to the bean that we've been using from the bag, the Kenyan bag, this one over here has like at least one shade darker of a brown compared to these ones. And like some of these beans are just so uniformly like roasted at a like light level. It's crazy. So I wonder if you can see it better if I like showcase a specific bean. So I'll show you guys first. Ooh. So this over here is the light roast. This over here is like a dark roast. And now I'll take a bean from the kind of like light/medium, like so. This over here is the light/medium, and this is the light roast still. So yeah, it's like so light. I've never brewed with a bean that is this light, which is probably why I'm having a hard time identifying when it's over extracted. But overall, this is actually a pretty decent cup after adding a dash of water to it. So what's making this cup good? Well, it has like a lingering silkiness to it. So my mouth feels good and like silky after sipping it. It has some interesting acidities in it, which shine through. And it actually has qualities to latch onto. So the reason why this is much of a better cup of coffee than our two last cups is because there are actually tasting notes and mouthfeels that can be had with this cup of coffee. Like it's still not an amazing cup of coffee, but I do now think that the issue that I've been having is that we need to extract less. And we can do that through like a big grind size change, for example, and still play around with those higher brewing ratios. Because I do still think that a higher brewing ratio to let these tasting notes shine is the way to maximize these beans. But I was kind of adamant at keeping it at that type of a grind size. But after sipping it a bit further and understanding the issue that I've been dealing with in these past 2 days, I think that we should make a big change in our grind size for our next brew with these beans over here. Yummy. So let's draw on the chart. Extraction on this one was slightly under extracted. Once we added the dash of water, it opened up and became even better and more delicious. And after adding that dash of water, it was actually a pretty decent cup of coffee. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't the best cup ever, but it was the best cup that I've gotten with these beans over here. So that is a big step forward into understanding these beans and what we need to try to get out of them. Now, knowing what's happening over here and knowing that we've been extracting too much from the bean, I think that we really need to make a change in the grind size to bring it back to a more of a balanced state and also bring up our brewing ratio. So what I want to do is I want to bring my grind size to 30, and then I want to change my brewing ratio to 1:17, a bit back up again, just to slightly compensate it. And this would make it so that the water dose is 255. And also 1:17 is what James Hoffmann has in his recipe, so I kind of want to keep it within that range. But I think the bigger thing here is that we have been grinding too fine. Our grind setting has just been a bit too fine, and we have been over extracting the cup of coffee. And even though we haven't been tasting it in the cup, as in those dry, astringent, extreme notes that are so obvious to over extraction. The big reason, in my opinion, and from what I'm seeing here, is that it's because the roast is so light that not a lot of those plant fibers are actually being extracted and imbued into the final cup of coffee. And that's why it seems like just a neutral and boring cup, but it's actually more like a diluted cup because the water that's going through doesn't have a lot of coffee compounds. So yeah, like I guess the balanced and bland can also be a representation here of over extractiveness because there aren't a lot of plant fibers that are getting extracted. So hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully we can get a really delicious cup of coffee with this new recipe over here, and we'll see what happens. This over here will happen next week, because next week we're going back to these beans. I've had a bit more success with them, so it'll be a bit easier to dial in. But I'm excited to go back to these and actually get a good cup of coffee that I know I can get from these. So just stay tuned for that. So I showed it on a video earlier, my grind size according to microns, and I believe it was 700 to 900 microns. It was in the first or second video. But I have a feeling also that my grinder is creating a lot of fines these days. So I've actually decided to upgrade my burrs on my grinder. And it's like $50 to change my burr set. And I'll probably just live stream that whole process. But I have a feeling that even though the majority of grinds are within the 70 to 90 micron grind size range, there are just a lot of micro fines that are like covering each of those grinds that probably are impacting this cup negatively. So hopefully that answers the question, Leandro. Oh, no worries, no worries. I don't mind explaining these things. People just plop in and out all the time. But yeah, even though the coffee bed looks pretty like nice and level and not that muddy, I have a feeling that there are just a lot of fines in there. Ooh, bless me. But that is one thing that you just don't understand with grind size sometimes, the distribution, the range of things. So when you set it to a specific grind size, let's say 35 could be a range of a lot of different grind sizes. So even though you're hoping that the grind size is, let's say, over here, when you grind your coffee, there will be a big range or a small range depending on the quality of your grinder. And this is all about grind consistency and being able to have a burr set that is really sharp, that will cut the beans properly to the size that you set it to, and that will minimize this range, because this range is unpredictable. If you have a lot of grinds with a lot of different grind sizes, you will get a coffee that is both over extracted and under extracted. And right now, I'm getting a cup that is probably over extracted, and it's because of those fines. It's because of those extra fines that I'm getting in there, probably. And we're going to make a change and grind coarser to compensate, because that is the way to do it when you're getting too many fines and stuff. Just grind a bit coarser. But yeah, Brewer, pretty handy if you want to check grind sizes at home. It's not perfect, but it gives you a good perspective and understanding of what your grind size is. So overall, the best cup so far. I think that we are starting to understand these beans a bit better. And also understand light roasts a bit better with this bag of beans here. And I'm not talking like normal light roasts. I'm talking about the extreme, the lightest of roasts. Probably like right after first crack, they quickly take it out and ship them right after. So yeah, it's like fascinating because I have had a lot of light roasts in my life, and I've just never seen one that is so uniform and so light. It's weird to say, but yeah, it's extreme. So let me show them again. I'm totally gonna take a photo of these and just post them because I don't think this video feed is giving them justice on how light of a roast they are. Yeah. Okay, so I hope everyone has a great weekend. Right after this video, in 5 minutes, a video is being posted about brewing recipes on the Brewing Habits channel, so make sure to check that out if you want. And next week, we'll be going back to the Kenyan beans that we have, and we'll be brewing with these for a week, and hopefully getting a really delicious cup of coffee with those. But for now, I wish you the best. Take care, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. Oh, random question. Sasha, do you think that they flash roasted the beans? I actually have no idea what a flash roast is, but I wouldn't be surprised if they are using some kind of a technique to get this type of uniformity in their beans, because it's crazy how uniform and light these beans are. Like, I can't imagine getting this at home, for example, with my ghetto setup, but my setup is pretty ghetto with a heat gun or like popcorn popper, but I just can't imagine it. It literally looks like Nutella. That's the color that I'm looking at right now, Nutella. And they're like so yellow also. Oh, nice, Mom. Awesome, awesome. Good that you're having solid Halloween plans. I'll look into flash roasting. Maybe these are flash roasted. I have no idea. Does it say on the bag, maybe? Just says, yeah, the normal stuff. Yeah, I'll have to figure it out. I don't fully understand it myself, but I've been getting into roasting and got a roasting book by my local roaster, which had different roast profiles in it. Interesting. Yeah, I kind of want to just reach out to Don Matteo and see what type of roast they did with these beans, because it's really interesting. I think it's fascinating. Yeah, like I have Don Matteo followed on Instagram. I'll probably just send them a DM and just ask them for an next stream. So yeah, it's interesting, and it's just so fascinating because they're just so like roast. It's crazy. It's blowing my mind. Okay, well, anyways, have a great day. Have a great weekend. Have a great Halloween weekend, everyone. And I'll see you peeps later. Take care. Bye.